All right, there we go. Credits are rolled. We're here, about to finish up Blood Money. Before we get the action rolling, we've got a couple little announcements to do. First of all, is that this game specifically, Voloheen Winds of War, after this week, we're going to be taking a bit of a winter hiatus. If you haven't noticed on your calendar, we have some important days coming up on Tuesdays soon. We got Christmas and then New Year's Day right after that. And myself in particular, I need to take some time to do some traveling and see some family. So the first official, the start. Let's say it this way: the start of episode 8 of Winds of War is going to be on January 22nd of next year. It'll be a new year and a new, fresh start. And as far as what
That'll give
role,
me a long time to go through. I'm
yeah,
actually gonna go through and watch all of our videos and compile all that information so I don't
yeah.
screw up anything for continuity's sake.
Oh
Like
man,
the question, by the way, what is Ethel's husband's name?
yeah. I know
I
we were.
didn't put it in my notes.
Yeah,
I'm watching through videos trying to figure that shit out.
yeah. Ace and I spent way too much time trying to
Too
like
much time.
figure that out, but we
Yeah.
finally did figure it out in some fashion. So
Yes, we did. We figured
yeah,
it out completely. And if we are wrong, fuck you, we're right.
we're still right. So, as far as what Roll for Mischief is going to be doing in that little bit of a hiatus, Josh has volunteered to run some cool Star Trek themed stuff. If you, as the audience, have any suggestions of little fun things that the crew could take on in that time, feel free to
Yeah.
hop on our Discord. Start a dialogue with us.
It's at
What do
least
you want to see?
4 weeks that we need to fill with something. So we could do, a 4 week Star Trek Adventures game. Um, we could do just a couple of one shots. We could do something else in Voloheen. We could do all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sky's the
Now is your
limit.
time to have opinions.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. For sure. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on that regard. And let's hand it over to Asa really quick.
Oh yeah, so this is an exciting day for me. November 11th, December 11th, December 11th. That's the date today. This day 3 years ago, I did probably the most important thing I will ever do in my entire life, and I adopted 4 children, and they are, I mean, they are my life. They are the reason that I strive to be a better person. They're the reason I do this stream. They're the reason I get up in the morning. I'm not even kidding. If I didn't have kids, I'd probably sleep until noon. Uh, they are the reasons I don't sit on my ass and play video games all day long. Like, these kids give me a purpose, and I'm just grateful that my boys are in my life, and kind of sad they're at school right now because I can't be like, hey, but they'll
Aw.
be here in about 3 hours. So
Bring 'em
right
in.
these 3 minutes.
Everyone
Um,
come into the camera. Oh.
Exactly.
No, they're sweet
So,
kids,
yeah.
man.
They're pretty cool. Hopefully today we'll decorate our Christmas tree in celebration.
There you go, dude. That's so
It'll be
sweet.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And I'm glad I was able to share this with everyone here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be the disclaimer. This is going to be the only feel good section of this entire session.
Yeah, everything from here just goes downhill.
Just downhill from here. Yeah.
So speaking of which, too, we still have going on. I'm thinking we're gonna go up until episode 8 starts. If we can hit 50 followers, we will. If we can hit 50 followers before episode 8 starts, so January 22nd, we will be giving out one player's handbook from this player, specifically this player's handbook, which is obviously pretty much unused. I think I opened it like one time, I just opened it one time to show somebody something, and that's it. We'll pick from the from amongst the followers. So as long as they're within, we can send it to you like legally.
That's 7 followers. 7 followers in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Can we do it?
Easy. Easy. Tell your friends, man.
Tell your friends, tell your dog,
Tell your dog.
tell my
especially.
dog.
Make a whole bunch of fake proxy accounts and just subscribe.
We do not advocate making
That we do
fake
not
proxy
advocate
accounts.
doing that.
We
Disclaimer.
do not advocate doing that.
Yeah, it's.
They do not advocate doing that.
We don't advocate buying followers.
Okay.
Oh no,
That's part of the industry.
Guys,
Yeah.
you're gonna get us kicked
Buying
off Twitch.
followers would be cheating,
You-
but
You're gonna get us kicked off. Everyone, shut up.
So, and then also we are working at getting Mischief and Misfits back.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully around
More games.
around the same time. We're looking at like late January, early February at bringing that back.
And Patreon. Don't forget Patreon. Come and
Yes.
patronize us. We like money.
Yes.
I mean, we
just Patreon / Roll for Mischief.
check it out. Click on
Sure.
the button on our Twitch page as well.
Yep.
And if you watch on YouTube, well, shit.
I think I have the links in YouTube as well.
Nice. Very
Oh,
nice.
okay. Josh is on this.
He's on this.
Yep.
All right, sweet. So, without any further ado, let us continue on to the conclusion of episode 7, Blood Money.
All right.
Where we left off, excuse me, the party had kind of split itself. One of the very exciting things that happened last time is that Hillophax had gotten a ring of spell storing that he gambled off of Finnegan Odwick. And that ring of spell storing, it had one 5th level spell in there called Gas. And it is a spell that you can use to put a magical command onto a creature, you know, like kind of give someone a quest that they must magically follow. So you guys ended up finding a somewhat lowly ISCB dock worker at a bar. Fiala seduced him pretty much, and then
Not pretty much.
pretty much
Fiala seduced him.
100% seduced him. And then Hillophax used the power, the spell in the ring, to command him to make their lives a lot easier in getting into the warehouse. And that all happened simultaneously while Eridu went with Jerry Caford, the ISCB worker. While they went to the warehouse, simultaneously, Fiala and Hillophax went on a little stroll around the town to try and cause a massive scene and hopefully a massive riot in Twin Harbor. They found themselves outside the Cornerstone and started to create this very fake battle or fight between
It was
them,
a
but
fake
it was
domestic
a
disturbance.
fake domestic disturbance. They're acting like husband and wife and just fighting with each other. And then the barmaid came out from the Cornerstone and said, "I can't agree with this. Look, blah 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 blah." She got all into it. The guards came, and then a scuffle ensued. And I believe the exact moment where we're at is that Fiala's going to try and do something to amplify the situation, or exacerbate it in a good way, in the way that you are all hoping to exacerbate the situation.
So the guards, how we left it off is the guards were on the ground fighting each other because Hillophax cast
Enemies abound.
Enemies Abound, and then another one, I forget which the other one was.
It was just Charm Person, I think. You just
Yeah, I can't remember.
Charmed him.
Like, yeah. So they're fighting each other, and then Hillophax motioned to Fiala to go kind of get in there. Which, even though she knew that was the plan, she hated playing damsel in distress. That just goes so against the core of her being. But she was
For sure.
Oh. That's why there was a hesitation there last week, as she was like, okay. And so she went down to kind of do that no, stop it thing, and then the guard shoved her aside, and now she's basically making a flail to performance check flail to to see if people believe me.
Just trying to make it seem like the guard like really hit you in a much more violent way.
Yeah.
It's like I watch enough sports to know what you're doing, you know.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
trying to draw the foul, like, oh, they really got me. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's very
You
much so
can
trying
give
to
yourself
draw
advantage if you use the line, "See the violence inherit the system. Help, help, I'm being repressed."
I am inclined to give you advantage just because have been very tickled with the novel approach that you and Halifax have been going at with this, and with the assistance of Halifax's spells and just the whole chaos of the situation. I think that what you're trying to do is it's not unreasonable to give advantage for that check.
No, it's essentially instant use inspiration, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Okay. 22.
Yeah, I figured, giving you advantage would be sweet. So, yeah, it's at this point where you scream and flail, and, you manage to do this, like, very great little acrobatic thing where you hit the ground, like you hit the hard stone ground, and you do it in this way that creates a big sound. Like it almost sounds as if you like cracked the back of your head on the cobblestones, but you didn't really hit your head at all. You know, but yeah, really played it off. And it's at this point that several other patrons in the Cornerstone who have had their faces glued to the windows this whole time, that's when they get pissed off enough. Some of them storm out, even with the tankards still in their hands, and they just start shouting at the guards. And the guard...
I'm going to smash my head into the cobblestone. I'll take damage, no problem. Okay. But I want to smash my head into the cobblestone.
Okay. You take 2 damage.
So that way I'm bleeding.
Yeah. You take 2 damage, and the blood starts to stain your pretty white hair.
Yeah.
And everyone's shouting at the guards, and also kind of shouting at Halifax too. Yeah, actually, definitely shouting at Halifax because you were playing it off in that way.
Yeah. No, calm down, everyone. Calm down. Are you okay, Thiala? That was clearly the guards. I'm being quite violent this evening. You okay? You're bleeding.
Yo fucking guards! Look at me! And I just, basically draw out as much of my blood as I can and really shine it and, spread it around so that way it looks
bad.
Infinitely worse than it originally was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I basically side with Halifax and I basically, nuzzle into his arm and, point at the guards and be like, look what they did to me, baby!
Wow.
Way to peg me into a corner there, Thiala.
Well, no, because I nuzzled into I now have put you on the good guy.
True.
Position, because now I'm nuzzled into your arm, I want you to protect me, and it's the guards that attacked me. So.
Right. Not to very quickly adopt this role. I say, guards, the most unkind thing to have done to a poor defenseless young lady here. I'm sorry, Thiala. I know you're not actually defenseless. This is unreasonable behavior. I should speak to your superior at once. Yes, bring them down.
The guards are still tussling with each other, and the one Drew that you cast Enemies Abound on, he was kind of the stockier and sturdier of the two looking guards, and you can't you're trying to talk to him as they're having a tussle, and he looks back at you and his face is just twisted in this animalistic snarl. He is just absolutely seeing red, and then he lifts his hand up and just punches the other guard so hard that he knocks him out, and he starts to stand up from that whole exhausting thing. You can see behind him on the other side of the square, there's some movement, and out of the opposing walkway, there's another small contingent of guards, like 3 guards, are coming out. As you snap your eyes back to the guard that just stood up from punching the other guy, he reaches onto his waist and he pulls out a hand crossbow, and he just starts pointing it at the whole crowd that's assembled. Get back! Every single one of you animals! Get back!
At that, I would like to use my staff and try to disarm him, and then give him a conk on the head, try and knock him prone.
Okay. Go ahead and do a little roll there.
Could be better. That's 11 that I rolled on the dice, and I get +2 to my
modifier.
strength.
Yeah.
I want to also, while he's doing that, make a very, not loud enough for anyone else to note it, using prestidigitation. Not a loud enough sound that anyone else would hear it, but it would sound like a firecracker in his ear.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I can, kind of create that balance. So basically, to shock him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let's. What was your final roll, Drew?
13.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely gonna miss. And so your staff swings in, but he goes back, does like a little matrix dodge a little bit. His hand with the hand crossbow just clears it, and then he gives you a deadly look. And then all of a sudden there's some sound that happens, like he recoils, looking to the other side, and he's shocked, and his hand goes wild, and he just panics, and he looks in the crowd, and he just fires his hand crossbow randomly into the crowd like a panicked animal. The bolt, wait for it. Yeah. The bolt goes right into the barmaid's throat. Yeah.
So, obviously, immediately I'm going to slide up to her, and I'm gonna cup her head, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on her, but continue to act as if she's still hurt, and just start, "Why would you do that, monster?"
Okay, so you go in to execute that whole action, but as soon as that happens, as soon as the bolt goes off, there's a huge uproar and a flurry of activity, and the whole crowd, you're pretty much kind of diving into the crowd to get to the barmaid, and the whole crowd around you just rushes forward in the opposite direction and charges the guard, who is now looking so panicked. He drops his hand crossbow, he draws his sword, and at this point the other 3 guards that were coming from across the square have seen this all go down, and they're sprinting toward the scene. So I'll let you cast Cure Wounds if you succeed in a we're gonna call it a strength saving throw to resist being not necessarily trampled, but pulled away by all the bodies moving in the opposite direction.
Okay, so not athletics, strength saving throw.
Just strength saving throw, because this is you just trying to stay solidly in place, keeping the barmaid cradled in your arms.
10.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah,
you get pulled with the crowd, and not, like I said, not trampled, but you are just prone on the ground as people are kind of stepping over you.
Okay.
And yeah, there is a full-on melee taking place now. All the people that came out of the cornerstone are fucking getting into it with the guards. The sound, the roar, is just getting to be deafening. And you see now that all these lights and these lamps are getting lit. You know, like the sound is definitely catching the attention of anyone that was like trying to go to bed early around here. People are coming out on their balconies and taking a look at the scene that is unfolding in the town square below.
Fiala, I'm beginning to have a great number of reservations. I do not feel I have the confidence to see this plan out.
Look, I don't want this any more than you do. I don't think we have a chance. I mean, maybe I got one more shot, and so I stand up, and I kind of just kind of close my eyes, and I grab my ocarina, and I go, Anesti, Queen of the Ravens, don't let her die today. And I cast Healing Word at the barmaid.
Word.
At first level.
Word. Roll them dice.
Okay. I think it's just 1d4, but yeah, it's 1d4 plus 4. 7.
Okay, cool. Let me make a little quick note. As you say your prayer to Anesti, your ears are filled with the sound of wings fluttering and flapping, and you get the sense that Anesti has heard your prayer.
And I silently to myself thank her.
Hell yeah.
And I go over and I tap Halifax on the shoulder, and I say, it's taken care of. We need to be out of here now.
But the devastation that we are likely to wring out of this situation.
The devastation was an inevitability. We just afforded them the spark to see what they wanted to do. Where this goes is on them. They didn't have to react violently to someone getting shot. It could have gone differently. They wanted to react violently.
Indeed. You lead the way, Fiala.
Okay. Then I'm gonna head back to, as best as we can, head back to where Eridu is.
Could I potentially throw a wrench into things? And I would like to try and peel away from Fiala and return to the melee that has broken out.
Oh,
I want to
dear.
try and help as many of the citizens as I can, getting injured ones out the way, going and helping beat up guards, that sort of thing. And I'm also very happy to have that be like an off-camera thing that's maybe like resolved with a couple of dice rolls in an abstract way. But yeah, not seeking to like get myself killed at all, but Halifax is very much feeling a civic responsibility.
For sure.
I would assume that's a stealth against my passive.
Probably,
yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense, because you guys are kind of like rushing over, and Fiala's maybe taking the point, and
right. I wouldn't be looking for him specifically, but I would. It's not 14.
For
passive.
sure. So yeah, if you succeed with the stealth, then we'll kind of go through this whole kind of thing.
No, I got an 11, so I'll basically make the attempt when Fiala catches him. He'll just carry on.
Okay, then I'm gonna grab your arm and I'll do a grapple. So that's my athletics versus your acrobatics.
Ooh, giving him another chance. All right, doing it.
Okay.
Gonna go for the grapple.
That's 17 on my end.
20.
Oh, she gets you. She gets you. Her Fiala's hand just reaches out to you and just grips your upper arm with a grip of steel. Yeah.
Look, I understand, but we can't be involved. We have to. We have a mission. We have to save other people.
Yeah. The bigger picture. I think I might understand that, yes. It'll just take me some time to come to terms with it.
When all is said and done, this will be for the better. Look, I've been doing this for a long time. This is the worst it gets. This is the hardest thing that you'll ever do. But when you're overthrowing a society, there are birthing pains that need to happen for that society to be able to flourish on its own.
Let's return and see what we can salvage from this evening.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are heading back to the hideout as quickly as you can. As you walk or run rather down the darker and darker streets. The sound fades in the distance, but there are little glimmers of activity popping around that really give you the sense that the city is starting to come alive in the night, disturbed, very disturbed by what is happening. And you even have to dodge into an alleyway very quickly. Fiala notices a contingent of guards running in your direction. You dodge into the alleyway, wait for them to pass, and dodge back out and keep going on your way. As you reach the hideout and run quickly behind the Temple of Inesdi and head down the stairs, you run into Eridu and Jerry. They have just reached the entrance room essentially. And
Wait, are we taking Jerry into?
well, okay.
the
So
secret
maybe
hideout?
then we'll flop back over to Eridu, really quickly. You have just reached the Temple of Inesdi. You haven't gone into the back with Jerry yet, but you're like in the front of the Temple of Inesdi right
Okay,
now.
Yeah. So I'll turn to Jerry and I'll put a comforting hand on his shoulder and just tell him, "You have done very well today.
I
Go home, get some rest."
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you. Here are the chalks. I think you should definitely hold on to them.
Oh yes, of course.
yes.
Thank you.
And so I'm done.
I may need your services within the day, but I think more than likely our interactions are complete, and you no longer have any real what's the term I'm looking for? Allegiance toward me.
Okay. I don't exactly know what happened when you guys cast that spell on me, but I can only trust you and trust that I'm gonna be free now.
I can't pretend to know the inner workings of exactly what was done to you because I myself do not know. But
Okay.
I believe you will be.
Okay. I hope you don't have to come find me again. I really
As
hope.
do I.
But it was kind of fun. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Jerry, you're a very helpful person, and I appreciate that. And I hope that, despite the situation, if you feel taken advantage of, that we could still be friends at some point.
We'll see about that. Okay, well maybe I'll see you around. I'm gonna go home. I'm getting a really bad feeling about something.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
getting out of here.
be safe.
Thanks. Bye. And with that, Jerry scurries off as quickly as he can, his robes flapping behind him. He actually takes about 7 or 8 steps, and then he turns to you, and he looks as if he's about to say something. And then he keeps running. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So sounds good. So
Sorry, I'm fighting that yawn. Oh yeah, I'll go
It's
ahead
okay.
and go into the secret.
You'll go into the
The secret area.
secret hideout area.
The place that no one knows.
Definitely.
We don't even. We dare not speak its name.
Do not even speak its name. So you get into the hideout, and you just get into the whole entrance area, and you're like, kind of drying off your feet a little bit, get a little glass of water, just get all refreshed. And then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, Halifax and Fiala are trundling down the stairs, and yeah, you guys are face to face again.
Greetings, Eridu. I hope your mission was successful.
Yes, I got these trucks.
Excellent.
So I believe we are succeeding.
We managed to put a tinderbox to the fuse that was the townspeople. We also narrowly avoided a few guard patrols on the way back here. Things are certainly heating up.
Yes. It is unfortunate, but the people, if they want change, this will be a move that they will take to get there.
Yes. I do not feel comfortable being the architect of their current actions. Granted, we gave them the nudge, and that is what led me to agreeing to do this in the first place. But seeing it firsthand, it still does not make it any easier.
Do you feel uncomfortable because you feel that you are not part of this rebellion?
I do not know. Not as yet, anyway. There is just a disquiet in me. I'm sure it will pass. It's likely just being this close to a large combat.
I think it might be more than that. You are an Azamar. You come from essentially the ruling class of this kingdom, and you have yet been part of a rebellion against a governing body. I believe you feel a disconnect, but Halifax, you are part of this. Those are not people rioting on the behalf of you so that you can serve a purpose. You are rioting right along with them, as are we all. Because whether we know it or not, we have started this together. We are all in this together. We might be looking to, rescue a friend of mine. That might be the current goal. But it serves a larger purpose that comes down to overthrowing the regime that's setting itself into power in the Twin Harbors. And hopefully, averting whatever is on the wings. If this is too much for you, if taking responsibility for this grand of a change is something that you can't do, I understand, and you are welcome to leave before you are too deep into it, before there's nowhere safe for you to go.
Indeed. For now, I shall continue serving with Emily. She has proven a very adept individual at finding the needs that people have and finding peaceful resolutions to those. That's something I wish to help with. Try and stem the tide of pain and suffering as much as possible. It is true that it was remarkably easy. Even with all of my magics, I would not have been able to incite a riot on this scale, which means that since magic was seldom used, this was something the people wanted. I see that. This is perhaps why I never got into soldiering. I'll take your advice, Eridu. I shall think on this. and
Still
see
effects.
where.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
I was about to wrap up with that. Just see
Oh.
where things land.
Halifax, we asked a lot of you today. It is easier to do this when you are in a chain of command and it is a mission you're given. It makes it easier to distance yourself from these feelings. When you make the decision, you feel responsible for it. We jumped you into the deep end, into what is ultimately some of the hardest things that you will ever do. You did what you needed to do and acted admirably. I promise you.
Thank you, Theala. You're quite the actress yourself this evening. I must tell you, Eridu, if you ever get into a fight with Theala, you will not end up looking the better party, regardless of the objective reality of the situation.
This is a fact I have always known.
Nice. Should you see to your head wound, by the way?
Oh, I've had worse.
But a flesh wound.
Yeah, his blood's matted in my hair. I'm just like, I've had worse.
Whatever.
Like, make sure that I keep up appearances up here, but if I were to take off my shirt, you would see something entirely different.
I am both curious and terrified.
Maybe one day I'll show you.
Ooh.
Eridu, about these chalks!
Yes, we should probably get these over to our good friend Rick.
Finnegan.
Finnegan.
Rick again.
Rick again.
All right, so I'm gonna take the chalks to Finnegan.
Okay. As you make your way through the hideout, let's see. First, you find Emily, kind of in the same spot that she maybe was sitting when you guys left. She is sitting next to the fire. She has got a mug of tea, and she looks up expectantly at you.
Good.
Oh,
I didn't want to talk to her anyway.
how did it go?
I'll sit down, and if the things are there, pour myself a tea as well.
Oh yeah, sure. It's all on the small side table.
While I let it steep, I'll say the mission was quite successful, and the people of Twin Harbors are rioting.
Oh. How did that happen?
Didn't she know that part of the plan?
Oh, did she? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I don't-
That's okay. If she didn't, I'll
Really?
tell her. I just wasn't sure. It was a decision we made to create a bit of a distraction so that our infiltration of the ISCB warehouse would go uninterfered with the town guard.
Oh,
It's
wait.
not.
I think I'm remembering that she had an issue with that, like
Right.
when you guys were proposing it, and then she eventually was like, "Okay, you guys gotta do
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you gotta do." All right, it's coming back to me now.
But from what I'm told by Halifax and Theala, the people rioted quite quickly, and so it shows that there is more tension here than we originally thought. But that's a good thing.
Yes, you're right. You're right, and it was perhaps foolish of me to think that I could keep the peace and keep everything calm and stable here, but nothing can be like that anymore.
No, Emily. I believe it is that optimism that makes you such a compelling leader. It's the reason why I choose to follow you. You always want to look for the way to handle a problem with as minimal damage as possible. But you are right. We are hitting a time where that's just not an option any longer in some levels.
Yes. I understand things are going to be different, and perhaps this riot is the beginning of something very different for this city.
once we free Agner, you will have someone at your disposal who can plan military operations. And with Theala, you have someone at your disposal who can execute military operations.
Very well. I hope you can find Egner soon.
As do I. And I hope you are ready for what is to come, because I believe Garth will not give up his power easily. He will instigate more loss of life than we could ever hope for. And we need you to maintain your optimism. That spirit that we can get through this with as little bloodshed as possible.
Garth will burn this entire city to the ground, if anything, just to plant his flag on the ashes.
I believe that.
Well, fortunately, I can fight fire with fire.
I'm not sure if we need more fire at the moment, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. I do really. It's at this point that Finnegan walks in from the kitchen and he's whistling merrily and just doing like a little bit of a do da do da do da day ba da do ho 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 ho. He's just walking along and he's got a glass in his hand that already has some ice cubes in it that are clinking, and he goes over to this chest of drawers, on top of which there is a bottle of some very fine looking brandy in there, and he looks as if he saw you guys, but he didn't even say anything or acknowledge your presence yet. He goes straight over to that. He starts pouring the brandy in there. He reaches into his component pouch and he pulls out some very mysterious looking powder that's maybe even got some lint and some hair kind of stuck in it. And he starts pouring it in his drink and then using his pinky to stir it around. Oh, 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 wubba dub 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 dub. Oh. Hey there.
Why, Finnegan? Just the person we needed to see. We have brought you these things that you asked for.
What things now? What?
The chalks for the spell that is going to get us into place.
Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. I've been waiting forever on those. I've been sitting here getting stinking drunk the whole time. You guys took forever.
I have a feeling you would be getting stinking drunk without us taking a long time.
That is beside the point, and also I resent that you would say something like that. You don't even know me.
I've seen plenty.
Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. So,
addiction recognizes addiction. Just saying.
So, what do you say you give me those chalks? I'll give it a little look-see here and see how quickly we can get it going.
All right. We'll do that.
Very well. He grabs the chalks from you and he starts inspecting them. He pulls out a little little monocle from his pouch, and he just gets that going, and he starts looking at very closely at the chalks, and he's just making very interesting little moaning sounds like as he inspects the magical materials closer and closer. This'll be fine. Fine! And then he scurries off into the other room. Oh, and then before he scurries off, he stops in the middle of his tracks, and then he looks back, and he says, "Halifax, my boy, I got a present for you."
A gift?
Yes.
For me?
Yes. After that whole kerfuffle, I really feel bad about making fun of you and your wizarding abilities. I just think I can really do something to help you become a better wizard. And here's another one of those for you. And he gives you another scroll of detect magic.
Oh, Finnegan. You really shouldn't have. This is a wonderful gift. And
Halifax,
worth quite a bit.
You listen to me right now. If you don't have that spell, you will die at some point. That without knowledge of magic, without being able to detect magic, you're a stinking wizard, and you should know it. And if you don't, it'll probably get you killed.
Thank you, Finnegan. As always, you are a beacon for us all to follow.
Don't bullshit me now, but I appreciate it.
I thought you might.
And with that, he scurries off into the other room with the chalks, and he got very excited about. And
Always such a charming gentleman.
yeah, so he's pretty much going to be posted up next to his whole eightfold star that he's created, and he's going to spend some amount of time preparing for that.
I'd like to ask Emily if anything has happened with this strange Zarkon character while we've been gone. Has he made any moves? Has anyone said anything? That sort of thing. Just sort of touch base, see if anything weird's going on.
It's actually funny that you say that, because he has been, I suppose the word to use would be dormant. He has been standing in a corner of the kitchen, and his eyes are usually, they have that bright white light to them, but he's just, you don't see any light right now. He just went and stood in the corner of the kitchen and became dormant. And the whole time that you've been there, you've been away, he's not said a word, not done a thing.
It's a shame that these constructs are of such an alien design and proposition. It's difficult to tell whether that's a natural function of this artifice or something else.
Yes, I've not a clue. I do wish that we would have perhaps been able to have another one of these constructs recovered, or just perhaps one that was not inhabited by some mysterious, I can't even remember what you told me that he was, some ancient king?
Yes. I think while he is gone, we should take advantage of a moment to discuss what should be done with him. I believe he has lived out his usefulness, and it might be time to try to find a way to lock him away again, like he was before.
Tell you what would be useful around about now, if someone knew a dwarven archivist or administrator of some kind, someone who could help perform research tasks, help find more of this sort of thing. It's a shame that no one here present has actually spoken with such a person.
It's a goddamn shame. Hey, I'll be back in just a minute.
Cool.
I'm going to go ahead and admit my stupidity here and say, I have no idea what you're talking about.
On hired Zelor, the dwarven.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why it was specifically dwarf, not just.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, what?
Yeah. Probably the dwarves having built these things as well.
Yeah. We need a dwarven ally. We could talk to what's his face, but I don't think that would help. He's more of a crime boss than a.
Yeah.
By the way, I like how dominant Theala is that when you shipped their name, it was Theala's name, whole name, with facts just tapped at the end. Like, even in your ship name, she still maintained dominance.
But it's also just how cool the name is. Like Hiloala just doesn't sound right to me. It would be
Thealofax with 2 L's.
Thealofax.
Yeah, because Hilofax, so it would connect with the L's.
That would have been another way to do it. Yeah.
I don't know why that's funny to me, but that was pretty funny.
I just love how my first thought was her name. I guess Hilofax's name can be in there somewhere.
Oh, look who it is.
Just at some point, she'll be so dominant that every single ship with Theala in it is just Theala.
Yeah.
No amendment.
Yeah.
Combination of promiscuity and dominance is just Gala.
That's pretty much her MO.
Yeah.
All right. So what did I guys miss? What did I miss?
Oh,
You
no,
guys
we were
talking
just
about
about to
Zarkon?
bullshitting.
Theolofax.
Bullshitting? Oh, okay.
Us?
fine, Kyle.
No.
Never.
We are way too serious.
All right. So to get right back into it, Emily says you were trying to decide what to do about Zarkon.
Should something be done? I mean, something should be done, but what?
Yes,
We
exactly.
have-
What?
We have no clear idea of his present motives. We have Eridu's report, which I trust implicitly, that his motivation historically has been a grab for power. It may simply be that he is waiting out here, seeing it as a seat of information, to see which side would come out on top, align himself, and make a grab for power as and when he can. Slowly swing up the rungs, so to speak. It's a
Yeah, so-
possibility.
Sounds about right. I think in the moment we can't do anything, unless any of us knows how to bind a spirit to something so that it cannot leave. But more to the point with that, he has been bound to something before and still finds a way to influence those around him. The real goal would be to, well, it would be to get rid of his spirit entirely, but that sounds pretty difficult. Bind him to a way where he cannot influence anybody, or at least lock away whatever we bind him in, much like the helmet was.
I'm gonna do a quick player aside,
Yeah,
just for the sake of I have this on my mind. Halifax is a drow, right?
No.
No. Yeah,
Not
Halifax.
Halifax, sorry.
Zarkon.
Zarkon.
Yeah,
Yes,
Zarkon's
that's what
a
I
drow.
thought you meant in the first place. That's why I said yes. So yeah, Zarkon is a drow. Drow
So
who
then
lived like
would he
1,000
be
years ago.
considered Fey?
Yeah.
There was a moment where Finnegan was doing like a whole like identify ritual or something on Zarkon when you guys first had him there, and
Yeah.
Finnegan came over and had this whole like drunken exclamation and said, "Yeah, this thing is filled with Fey magic. Oh man, there's a lot of magic in there, Theala. There's a lot of Fey magic."
Okay. So then, yeah. Okay. I just want
Also, by Ra, dwarf, or all elves do have the Fey ancestry tag.
Right. Well,
which
no. The
gives them
question
charm
is
and all that.
planar binding. Whether planar binding would work. That's why I was just so that way I'm thinking about it. I don't forget it later.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the idea of binding him to the Feywild. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, good to keep in mind. Obviously, Eridu, I have no idea how that works, but yeah.
Right. That's why I wanted a player aside, so that way I could think about that in the future. Anyway, for
Okay.
my character development. Anyway, so
For
that's,
sure.
Don't think.
Yeah.
Just do.
My players come to.
Anyway, so yeah, that's a big aside. I just wanted to I was just thinking about that. I didn't want to forget. So yeah, so we'll go back.
Okay. So Emily says something like, "So I believe there's nothing that we can do about him right now, and I don't even know what to do with him when he's in this kind of state. I don't know if he'll stay like this for days, for hours, for weeks. Will he never come back to this body, and then we'll just have a fancy coat hanger in the kitchen?"
That could be a worthwhile endeavor for us to see if Zarkon's home at present. See if we can still detect his energy signature, his spirit.
Like maybe see if you can still detect his magic.
That would be a good idea. Perhaps I should expend the spell scroll and cast it. No.
I go over and I place my
No.
hand on place one hand on Zarkon's lifeless body, and I start basically with my other hand start writing on writing essentially like glyphs and whatnot on the ground for 10 minutes and 6 seconds as I cast ritual cast identify on Halifax, or not Halifax, Zarkon.
You're getting those mixed up all over the place, aren't you?
I don't know why.
For sure. Okay, so yeah, he stays dormant through the whole time that you're doing the identify spell, and
Right.
At the completion of the casting, you do get you get pretty much this whole like how to describe it. It's like it seems like it's almost completely empty of magic. Like you would imagine that like while this whole thing is going and active, there's just like magic coursing all over the place, making it all work and all doing its thing. It'd be like, you know, the magical equivalent of having like a furnace in there, and you're throwing like coal in the furnace, and it's just making everything go 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 go. So the analogy of this now is that it's like you have one little like tea light, one little candle that's burning in comparison to the furnace that it would be if he was active. This, you're just sensing one little candle of magical energy that's
So he's still
locked in the
bound
center.
himself to the. I feel like he's still bound himself to the armor, but he is also like like anchoring himself to the armor, but he's elsewhere currently.
Or he's just found whatever way to like just diminish his presence
Okay.
to this small point.
Gotcha.
He's
Well,
just
one or
trying to
the
like
other.
hide from us. He's like, I'm going to be in this narrow little point and pay attention. I'm waiting for you guys to talk about betraying me.
Right. Okay.
Oh, nope, now I know. You're all dead.
So
I'm
I
not
just
saying
get up and
anything.
I say his presence in there is weak for right now. What that means, I don't know. I don't have. That's not my specialty. But he is not there the way that he should be.
All right, well. Shall we get some rest while we wait for Finnegan to finish his ritual and then on to another very taxing adventure?
I think that's good. I don't know if we long rest or short rest, but I'm down.
You guys can do a long rest because you know, you're if you're in the kitchen, you're also like pretty close to Finnegan. He's got this whole area like just adjacent to the kitchen where he's drawn his big magic wheel of magic on the ground. He's going over very meticulously with the chalks and tracing over every little bit of his wheel of magic that he's drawn on the ground. And he's occasionally like screwing up a little bit because he's obviously drunk. Like he's kind of swaying like as he's kneeling over, like he almost falls over on his shoulder a couple of times. So he messes up a little bit. He has to take his robe and just like erase it, and he's cursing at himself. So he'll also drunkenly talk to you guys and say, "Oh no, y'all can go take a rest. I thought it'd be best if we waited until after hours, you know. But it's already after hours, so we'll have to wait till the next after hours, you know. It's just a good idea. It's a good time. It's a good thing.
Okay.
And don't forget. At this, he stands up, swaying, and he fixes you all with a very serious look. Except his eyes are cross-eyed a little bit. Don't forget. When you're in there, you gotta find me my spell, Halifax. You can see it now. You got the magic to see it now. You gotta find me the spell scroll. Plane shift. It's there. It's a conjuration spell. You know what a conjuration spell looks like, Halifax. You can find it for me. I need it.
Yes, I could, Finnegan. Yes, I shall look for it.
That'd be great, my boy. That'd be just fine. Just great.
Yes. Yes.
Papa Finnegan would love it.
Indeed. I forgive me, Finnegan. My mind was elsewhere temporarily. Yes, I shall bring you your scroll so that you can continue on your merry multiversal journey.
Gotta find the right one. Gotta find the universe with all of the free rum. The
Indeed.
plane, rather. Gotta find the plane that has all the free rum on it.
And would that be your final destination?
God's hope so.
Good. I just entirely curious, Finnegan. At what point did you and Zarkon cease your revelry?
Oh, Zarkon?
Hmm.
I think he just got pissed that I beat him at cards.
Hmm.
We switched from dice because I kept saying it's bullshit. It's all random. You know, you're, and it's not even fair because he can bluff. Because he doesn't have a face like I have a face. Anyways, so I said, let's do something with strategy. So I said, let's play some cards. And I taught him this game, from my playing and all that. And I just don't think he liked the game very much. I kind of took him for a lot of money that he took from me in the first place. But yeah, I think he just got kind of angry at me after that because he's been like that ever since.
Indeed. Yes, well, I suppose we should get along with things. Eridu,
Go take it easy.
Mind if I just speak to you for a moment?
Of course. I still have tea to finish.
All right, so you guys go off to a little separate room and have a little aside.
Eridu, I have a hypothesis to propose to you, and I would like to have you weigh this up against what you know of Zarkon, your expertise in him. And perhaps finding this friend of yours, Eridu, if he had closer dealings, he might know more. But I wanted to test this with you. What if Zarkon has left his mechanical body and is seeking to leave this plane with Finnegan?
I had not considered that. However, Zarkon, if he seeks power to align himself with someone who is powerful, Finnegan does fit the type. Despite his revelries, he is a very accomplished magician, wizard, whatever you call yourselves. Magician. Stage magic.
Illusionist, Michael.
So that is troubling, but that is also not our problem. I mean, in the fact that we brought him here, maybe we are responsible for his actions, but the best we can do is just perhaps fill Finnegan in and make sure that he knows what he is doing. And if he is willingly taking Zarkon with him, he'll be informed so that he knows how to handle the situation. Can we stop him? Can we bind him in any way? Can we keep him here so that doesn't happen?
I'm not sure. Certainly this is something that we shouldn't reveal to Finnegan for a number of reasons. I also don't want to put in Finnegan's mind any idea that we don't trust him. It's a delicate situation, something that we need more information on before we can act at all. It's purely an idea, a fear of mine of the power of this Zarkon and the resources he currently has at his disposal, vis-a-vis us, everyone in his encampment.
Perhaps when we get Agner released, he'll be able to give us more information. So, yeah.
Yes. My apologies for distracting you from your tea. Let's
not at
carry
all.
on and see if we can rescue this man.
It
I
is
think-
definitely a concerning thing.
Go on.
All
So
right.
I'm done.
I think that we're gonna have to seek out exceptionally powerful magic, anything far stronger than what we have to imprison Zarkon, and it's going to not be easy. I can't even say for sure if such imprisoning magic exists. It is, like I said, far, far stronger than anything I can imagine, but I'm sure there are scholars that would be able to help us.
I know that the magical tapestry, the matrix of energies that would be required would be immense, and would also require some representation on the physical plane. You would need to construct a gigantic drawing, or to create a huge stone construct, a temple built specifically for the purpose. Perhaps a jewel, but the jewel would need to be of such complex clarity. It would be a valuable jewel indeed. It would
Yes.
not be an easy task.
How valuable?
Depending on the appraiser, you're talking of a single cut gemstone worth at least 1,000 gold pieces.
You know, I had a companion who, just for the sake of me having a tendency of using player knowledge instead of character knowledge, I want to make sure Eridu knows about On's dwarven contact.
Sure.
I just couldn't remember if they'd ever talked about him or not.
I mean, it was
think
He
something.
was around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was around,
That's
and
a
it's
true
and it's
question, I guess,
something.
yeah.
Well, I think it's something that On would have been telling the other party members about.
Yeah, I don't think he especially kept it secret anyway.
No.
If it wasn't said explicitly, which it may not have done, then we can accept that On will have spoken to Eridu and
Sometime
Agner,
off camera.
Yeah.
Alton about it. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's really sensible to me. Go with that.
I'm pretty sure it was on camera, but even if it wasn't,
I have a companion, an acquaintance that has been able to get things that are very rare before. Now, perhaps if we can find him, we could do this again. And I definitely have the resources to pay for such a gem. If that's an avenue we want to go down, let me talk to Emily, see if a contact could find this man.
It would involve the knowledge of the magics as well. The ritual involved would be far more powerful than anything that I've ever had the privilege of wielding myself. I can't speak for Thiala, but from the sounds of things, this is something where we'd need to find someone who could perform this ritual. And this is all based on the supposition that it would work.
This is
I think the suggestions of the two of you, Thiala and Eridu, is to continue ahead with the task at hand. I should rein in my fears and try and focus on what we have in front of us. Do the job and see where we stand after that.
Agreed, but before we stand after that, you are formally trained in magic, aren't you?
I am, yes.
So you would have educators who, if not know this information themselves, have contacts that might.
It's information that I could get to float my way, yes.
If you can get the information your way, I can hopefully get the object our way, and this can be a thing that we could conceivably deal with. But you're right. For the time being, task at hand, getting Agner safe away from the Bureau.
Indeed. Break!
I need to spend my money on something. I've got a lot of it.
Word.
You just realize I've said break. I don't mean like break from the stream. I mean like break from the huddle.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we should
so,
long rest and then.
Yeah. So you guys are taking a long rest. Like I said, there are plenty of quarters for you guys to bed down in the hideout, and I was going to review. So essentially, like the three main objectives that have all kind of coincided with this whole breaking into the bureau area. Finnegan wants you to get a scroll for him. It's called Plane Shift, and he's fairly confident that a powerful spell like that is being kept in that area. Eridu has pretty much promised Ethel that he would free her and figure out what's going on with that whole situation. And then obviously got to find and rescue Agner Bosch, who has been conveniently gone this entire time. And so yeah, those are kind of the three objectives that you guys are trying to go toward. Unless you guys want to have anything happen while you're sleeping, which probably not. But anyways,
whenever a GM asks, do you want anything to happen while you're sleeping, the correct answer is always no.
No is no. Well, I mean, like, I don't know who's gonna like try and dream a little dream of whomever. Dream a little dream of me. Like, no, that's mostly Eridu trying to do that shit. But so no dreams. No one has any dreams. Nothing exciting happens in Dreamland. And one of the first things that happens in the morning, other than being subjected to Finnegan making breakfast, he makes a barely edible version of bacon and eggs, but that doesn't seem to bother him at all. And he also shows off a little bit, and he snaps his fingers, and on the table there are several cups of coffee that just instantly manifest themselves, and the liquid in the mugs are glowing with a very strange kind of radiance. And he says, "Coffee for everyone. You're gonna need it." And yeah.
Coffee? I don't believe I've partaken in the beverage. Is it much like tea?
No, it's way better. Way better. Yeah.
I shall take a sip.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
it's quite strong.
And also, just because like the whole timing of this was going to work out really funny, I'm going to say that you guys were able to take a long rest, but it's like still kind of like the middle of the night. A little bit. Yeah,
okay.
Because I didn't really want to make you guys wait. I was thinking about it, and I was like, make them wait like the whole day or whatever. Like, they just kind of need to get going on this.
Well, we have other things that we need to do for prep. Like Halifax needs to actually roll for and redo, or like to put dispel magic in his spell book. And
yeah, there's plenty of things that could last a day. The resting and all that, plus like the ritual itself, and the procuring of the firearms.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay, so
yeah, there's things that
I'll go back on that. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go back on that, and you guys are executing a whole bunch of preparation things. As far as the firearms go, Emily has told you guys that she took up Fiala on the whole offer of name dropping the Nailavar. I think I said that right. The special forces that she was a part of.
Yeah. Nevaler. Yeah.
Nevaler. Yeah, we'll get better at saying that.
It's hard. It's freaking elfish.
Yeah, for sure. So there was a bit of name dropping and some kind of subterfuge, some kind of something. She doesn't really give you the details very, very much. She's kind of tight-lipped about how the whole thing went down. But the most important thing, and she comes in carting a couple of like large crates over, and she puts them down on the kitchen table and pops them open, and you guys see in front of you firearms. Eridu is the only one that's really seen them before with his own eyes. And
we actually established last session that I have too.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so
well, actually, we went as far as establishing that she's had some minor training.
Okay. I can't remember shit. Or why are you asking me to remember shit? I can't.
Well, I mean, you
We
didn't
rely
ask.
on you to
Yeah.
GM.
Anyways, so
We're
Hillowfax.
relying on your shit memory, Kyle. Come on.
Anyways, Hillowfax is the one that saw.
Anyway,
Shut up. Oh. Oh my
Okay.
god. Alright, so you guys see the firearms, and Emily says, "Are you impressed? Are you impressed? I'm impressed." Fine.
Mm.
Yeah.
Eridu's actually a little bit hesitant to really move much closer to the firearms, and he just seems a little uncomfortable.
Understandable.
I have no problem going out. I don't know what kind of firearms that she grabbed, but I have no. If I remember correctly, I put in our Discord.
Oh yeah, no, I got it up here. There are 2 muskets and there are 2 blunderbusses.
Okay. She is for sure grabbing a musket.
For sure.
She do not do up close.
She's a musketeer.
Yeah. Yeah, so she grabs kind of a musket and kind of, I mean, not expertly, but kind of like haphazardly checks the gun,
Uh-huh.
like how it plays. But like she's had exceptionally limited experience, so she's trying to remember / figure out what's going on with it.
Word. Well, it's coming together.
Emily, are these the devices that were used to assassinate Ambassador Teladris?
Oh gosh, I think they're very much the same, but I don't think they're the exact ones.
Hmm. Ah, yes, of course, there would be more of these dangerous tools. Well, at least they're in our hands and not those of our enemies.
That's how I felt about it. It's an interesting experience. But yes, I do hope that you can not hurt yourselves with these, but use them for your benefit. And at that, let's go ahead and go to Hillowfax studying the Detect Magic scroll, and go ahead and make an Arcana check.
You gotta do it, just not get a 4 or less.
Hold on. I got oh, sweet. That is 19.
Oh, that's more than enough. Okay, so you successfully copy the spell into your spellbook, and as soon as you do so, the spell crumbles apart into a fine dust that blows away at the slightest breeze. Hell yeah.
Dude.
And yeah, and I'll let you, like, after you do that, you can prepare your spells again, since you have that available. Like, I'll let you have an opportunity to get it prepared with everything else.
We'll do that instead of reading up on things. Yeah, hold on. Add spells.
Mm-hmm.
Detect magic. Learn.
So, at that, we'll go ahead and fast forward to the time where you guys are ready to get a teleporting.
And now is a good time to take a break.
I want to do a quick little thing first.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys gather in the kitchen, and you go to that little area where Finnegan has finally tricked out his whole wheel of magic with all of the moonstone-infused chalk. And he's looking very proud of what he's done. He's looking very proud. Zarkon is still there, looking very dormant as he has been. Hasn't changed anything there. And Finnegan looks at you all, and he reminds you, yeah, this wasn't cheap, by the way, but this is the way you're supposed to get out, I guess. Excuse me. Just kidding. He would never say excuse me.
And yet he has.
And yet he has. So he's getting a little more polite in his old age.
A little bit of propriety involved in
Yeah.
that.
So he pulls out of his pouch like a just massive looking sapphire that's got all these veins of little silvery light running through it. And he says, "When you're done, Like, you saw me do this before. When you're done, I'll say it slowly. Go back to the teleportation circle that you came in on. Make sure everybody that you want to go is standing inside the circle. All arms and legs contained within the bounds of the circle. And then you do this. You crush it. You just crush it. I know it looks really hard to do, but it'll be okay. You just crush it, and then everything's going to be okay. Simple?
Seems simple enough.
Okay. Halifax, I'm trusting you with this.
Thank you.
All right.
Indeed.
I think you're a smart enough dude to really understand what the subtleties of what's going on. You just crush it. Yeah. All
Finnegan, has there been any other information that you could give us about what we're about to go into? Anything that could better arm us for a more successful mission?
Well, like I said, it's after hours, so it's the place is not going to be fully staffed. But watch out for traps. Watch out for surveillance. Like I told you all the way from the beginning, these guys got your number. Like, whoever it is that's got it out for you, they're keeping tabs on you. I mean, not now, not right here, because of the awesome non-detection spell that I cast on this whole area, but you know what I'm saying. You just got to be careful every step of the way, because you don't know who could be watching, listening, or waiting around the corner.
Indeed. Thank you, Finnegan. Your reverse engineering, your ingenuity, and your craftsmanship on this teleportation circle all have been invaluable for helping to get this Aigna back.
Yeah, I know I'm brilliant. You can keep saying it, too. I know. Yes, I am. Well, that was great.
Thank you. Shall we away, lads?
Yes.
And ladies.
All right, everyone, get in the teleportation circle, all y'all. So you guys, all three, gather inside of it. You have to scrunch a little bit, And Finnegan, he touches a hand to the very outside of the circle on the ground, and he says a magic word, and then all of the lines, they start to glow brighter. It was already very bright because the white moonstone inlaid chalks. It was very reflective, but now it's glowing with an intense white light that's getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and reflecting off the walls, the stone walls around you. And as it's getting brighter, Finnegan is standing in front of you, and he's waving cheerily, swaying a little bit because he had just downed another glass of some gnarly-looking brandy. He's swaying a little bit, and he's waving, and he says, "Have fun storming the castle!" As he's saying that sentence and waving at you, you see behind him, you see Zarkon. His eyes start to glow bright, and he is definitely not dormant anymore. Zarkon turns into a cloud of mist and disappears from that position. And then you see Finnegan's eyes go wide, and he goes, wait, what the hells are you doing? And then, whoosh, flash, and you guys are teleported. And now we're going to take our break.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Pulling a
Mid
fast
episode
one.
cliffhanger. I like it.
Yeah, a little
No.
mini cliffhanger to go with the cliffhanger that'll hang on the cliff.
Yeah.
So sweet. Stick around, folks. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll see the thrilling conclusion to the conclusion. It'll be
To the
dope.
conclusion, that concludes.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll be right back.
Guys.